They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension: racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
Never let anybody tell you you can't do what you in your heart know you can.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means, and one could argue that sometimes it's used too liberally. That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
And the other thing is simply to use what you're using right now to get this interview, and you can make an entire movie on that device right there.
Steven Spielberg has had enough, and this time, he's not hiding it. According to explosive new claims, Spielberg has finally let it be known. Rachel Zegler made filming West Side Story a nightmare, not just for him, but for the cast, the crew, and everyone stuck in her storm of drama. She may have been handed a once-in-a-lifetime role, but behind the scenes...
Was I surprised? I wasn't. I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised. Because if you have peripheral vision, you're going to sense these things out of the corner of your eye. You can't not know that this has been going on rampantly.
Insiders say she acted like she was above it all, as if the rules, the schedule, and even Spielberg himself didn't apply to her. And when the most respected director in Hollywood finally starts talking, people listen. It started off as little things: showing up a few minutes late, missing a wardrobe check.
Controversy in Snow White. The dwarves have been eliminated in the live action.
Yeah.
Now it's Snow White and the 7 magical beings.
Wait, it's 7 and the magical beings?
Yeah,
They won't even
7
say
magical
and the 7
beings.
dwarves?
No, because they're not dwarves. For right now, that's the only jobs that are there.
Oh my God.
Disappearing from set for longer than expected during breaks. At first, the crew gave her grace. This was her first major film. Nerves? Maybe. Inexperience? Sure. But as the days rolled into weeks, the patience started to wear thin. By the second month of shooting West Side Story, a clear pattern had emerged, and it wasn't flattering. Sources say Rachel Zegler came into the production acting like she already was a star.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live-action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
Not a rising talent, not a newcomer learning the ropes, but a star. She reportedly walked onto Spielberg's set with the energy of someone doing the world a favor just by showing up. One production assistant described her vibe as barely tolerating being there, while the rest of the cast brought focus and...
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime, and let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely f***ing atrocious.
Hardcore. They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
Professionalism to every rehearsal, Zegler allegedly sauntered in with her phone in hand, headphones on, and a look that said, "Can we get this over with?" The disrespect wasn't loud, it was subtle, but consistent. When Spielberg gave feedback, she allegedly rolled her eyes. When asked to redo a take, she sighed dramatically or insisted she already nailed it. A performance that needed minor tweaks suddenly turned into a standoff.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million.
And Spielberg, the man who's directed Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, and Jurassic Park, was now having to negotiate with a 19-year-old to finish a basic scene. And it wasn't just him. According to insiders, Zegler questioned direction from the assistant director team, snapped at script supervisors, and ignored blocking instructions unless they came directly from Spielberg.
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
She came out and she said, "I apologize. I went too far." But it wasn't.
As if anyone else on set didn't matter. One veteran crew member put it this way: "We've worked with everyone. Kate Blanchett, Tom Cruise, Viola Davis. Rachel acted like she was more important than all of them. It was wild. Things reached a breaking point during a pivotal musical number.
Broke out with this news, and I'm very, very, very excited and looking forward.
It's awful, generic. Never mind that the lyrics make no sense at all. All you have to do to make your dream come true is let it echo. Is it like on a metaphor?
A scene that required tight coordination between actors, background performers, and camera movements. The lighting had to be perfect. The choreography had to hit. And Zegler? She was reportedly nowhere to be found when the cameras were ready to roll. She allegedly held up production for nearly 40 minutes because she wanted to refocus her energy, not check wardrobe, not redo makeup, not even rehearse, just sit in her trailer and get in the zone. Crew members later found out she'd been posting selfies on Instagram during that downtime. And when someone dared to ask her to hurry up, she allegedly snapped, "You're not going to dim my light because you're in a rush." That quote stuck. People on set started repeating it, half joking, half horrified. It became the go-to phrase whenever someone had to deal with one of her outbursts. "Don't dim her light," they'd whisper sarcastically, as if walking on eggshells had become part of the job description. It wasn't just about being late or moody, it was about her entire attitude. She allegedly saw every note as an insult, every suggestion as a personal attack. She didn't want direction. She wanted praise, constantly, even when it wasn't earned, and when that praise didn't come, she turned cold. Some days she'd storm off set without saying a word. Other days she'd argue about lines, staging, or camera angles, as if she were co-directing the film. The worst part? According to several insiders, she believed she was elevating the movie by doing this, that her strong opinions were making it better. But for Spielberg, a director who thrives on collaboration, not confrontation, this attitude was a deal breaker. More than once, he allegedly had to step in to calm tensions, re-explain his direction, or reset the energy of the entire set after one of Zegler's moods derailed the scene. And while he kept it professional, those close to him say you could see the frustration mounting behind his eyes. Rachel Zegler didn't just challenge the process. She tried to rewrite it. On a Spielberg film, on her very first role. That's not confidence, that's delusion. And the longer it went on, the more it became clear. This wasn't just a bad day or two. This was the real Rachel. And everyone had to deal with her whether they liked it or not. Spielberg built his career by cultivating strong, respectful relationships with his cast. From Tom Hanks to Meryl Streep, he's worked with Hollywood legends, and they all praise his leadership. So when reports started leaking that Zegler was clashing with him, that wasn't just gossip. That was unheard of. Insiders claim Spielberg confided in close colleagues that Rachel's arrogance made directing West Side Story feel like walking on glass. One crew member put it bluntly, he was fed up. You could tell. Her behavior didn't just rattle Spielberg, it disrupted the entire production. He allegedly had to restructure filming days around her moods. Entire scenes were delayed because she couldn't be found, or because she was too emotionally exhausted to shoot. And when a director like Spielberg starts venting about you to other power players, that's not a bad sign. That's the kiss of death. Forget the red carpet smiles. Behind the scenes, it was a different story. Multiple production insiders now claim that Zegler treated the crew with cold indifference at best and straight-up disrespect at worst. She reportedly snapped at makeup artists, refused wardrobe fittings, and acted like the set revolved around her. Crew members allegedly referred to her off-camera behavior as entitled, rude, and draining. One particularly damning claim, she refused to shoot a key scene unless the lighting was redone entirely to her liking, even though it had already been approved by Spielberg and the cinematographer. Who does that? Here's where it gets serious. According to sources close to several studios, Spielberg has made it clear behind the scenes. He's not working with Zegler again, ever. And when Steven Spielberg blacklists you, it doesn't just affect one film. It echoes across the entire industry. People take notice. Projects dry up. Casting directors suddenly stop calling. Studios reevaluate your name on their shortlists. He allegedly told peers that she lacked discipline, disrespected the craft, and wasn't ready for the responsibility. Harsh words, but coming from him, devastating. And here's the kicker. This wasn't a one-time thing. The exact same patterns followed Zegler to her next big role, Disney's Snow White. She made headlines for mocking the original movie, calling it weird and creepy. She joked about the prince being a stalker. She openly slammed the very film she was hired to reintroduce to a new generation, and then came the Snow White box office disaster. Fans tuned out. Audiences laughed instead of applauded. Disney's billion-dollar bet flopped hard, and insiders pointed the finger squarely at Zegler. The same entitlement, the same bad press, the same inability to read the room, just on a bigger stage. At first, people whispered about Zegler behind closed doors. Now, they're talking out loud. There's growing speculation that Zegler has become unbookable in certain circles, that her name sends up red flags for studios and executives who can't afford another PR meltdown. Former co-stars stay silent. Directors dodge questions. Late-night hosts mock her. Social media has turned brutally sarcastic. And Spielberg, he's allegedly the one who opened the floodgates. His credibility is unmatched. If he's sounding the alarm, you better believe people are listening. Here's the wildest part. Through it all, Zegler still plays the victim. Instead of reflection, she claps back. Instead of humility, she posts passive-aggressive quotes. Instead of learning, she doubles down. And that's what people can't stand. It's not just the behavior, it's the lack of accountability. Hollywood has room for mistakes, but it has no patience for people who refuse to grow from them. Steven Spielberg gave Rachel Zegler the opportunity of a lifetime. She blew it, and now he's allegedly making sure everyone knows it. Her rise was meteoric, but her fall, it's happening in real time, and it started on the very set that was supposed to launch her career. Rachel Zegler didn't just lose Spielberg's respect, she lost the trust of an entire industry.